on with OBS then, but the PPA was just taking forever. I mean, it's only 150 megs. That should be over by the time I tell you that it's happening. And it took longer than that. Quite a bit longer. Anyway, we're here. Got some stuff to clean up. I'm kind of a little bit behind the mark that I want to be at the moment, because there's been a busy day with non-work matters. Happy to report that Maple is doing perfectly well, thankfully. Taking her medications, which is if you know cats, trying to get them to take medications, if you can get that done, you're pretty much 90% of the way to success. Oh, Phil's here. Hello, Coda. Fancy seeing you. I thought you'd have better things in your life to do than hang around with some deranged ex-Englishman, convict as it were. Anyway, good to see you. Alright, first thing I'd do is, unfortunately it's not a hyper interesting job, but I've got this board here and I fixed it up. It's a 1706. Fixed it up, got it working, but then it seems like the data was all trashed. And I just noticed that my oh, that's right, I was inspecting the data using the lifeboat tool. I always forget whether it's lifeboat or life raft. Either way, I was inspecting it to see whether I could recover their data, and it was trashed. Unfortunately, what happened is one of the rails for the NANDs failed, probably at a time when it was doing some kind of writing, and it just sort of went, "Nah, I'm out of here, you're all dead," and everything died. Which is a little bit weird though, because these are not encrypted, like the T2. But anyway, so we're going to fire it up, see if at least I can get it on its way for getting a new macOS install. I just had to get a confirmation first from the owner that the data wasn't important. Not that I feel like there was much of an option of recovery, but if there was, if they had said data is important, then I said, well, take it to some other place and see what they can do. What's Phil saying? Don't usually watch washed up has-been failed technicians. Love you too, mate. Love you too. You're lucky you can sing all right, and you're not even Welsh. Or are you? Okay, let's see what we can do with this. So what else needs to put on this? I may as well just put the bottom panel on. Battery's semi-shonky. Oh, the whole Alex thing is fun. It's actually been quite a advantageous thing for me. He's probably going to send me a invoice for that. People like for content exposure and guidance. He'll probably send Lewis one as well. Okay, come on. Come on. Alright. Okay. Command Shift R, I think. Oh yeah, the thinking that the do better be there was a quote or something. I was like, oh no. Anyway. His fans loved it though. They're like, what is it? Some kind of Avengers superhero quote or something? Really dissing into me about that. I'm like, no. If you know, you know. Anyway, once we've knocked this thing out, we'll get on to one of the tricky jobs. Basically, I'm at the point now where I'm dealing with rabbit holes, which is, as you know, very much the antithesis of what I like to do. Some people love rabbit holes. I don't really care for them because they're just big fat money sucks. It's fine if you've got somebody paying your wage regardless of your success or failure. If they're just paying you for your hour, then marvellous. Go at it. Hell, bring out the oscilloscope as well, just so that it looks like you're actually serious about what you're doing. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Mention oscilloscope and it's already on the page. Hey Maimon Hassan, greetings from South Africa. Before I go out to get the kids from school. Is it really that late already in South Africa? Yeesh. Okay, I'm just checking my other jobs here. Right, I've got another one to reassemble. This, I've got the, this is the one that had the burnt trackpad and we tried to get the 3V8 back. Customer said, don't worry about it. They kind of want to get the data, but they're not really willing to pay the price for the data. Okay, this is jammed. Obviously didn't get the key codes in. See how it's stuck like that? So yeah. So power it off. Usually it's Control Shift R. Hey, termination shock. Oh yeah, I'm not worried about that particular person. Like I said, I actually put that video of mine out because of the fact that I was thinking, well, this could get me a few more views and a few more subscribers, and it did. So I'm essentially just utilizing the attention he made for my advantage. Hey, Dennisy dude. This is, no, that's not it either. Sometimes it will get locked on the progress bar if there's an issue with the touch bar, and we may actually still have that. I'll just do the recovery option. I don't know why you didn't mention you, Phil. Maybe he's scared of you. Or maybe you're not even on his radar. That's the thing I don't get. It's okay, now I'm actually worried that this thing has a bad chassis as well as everything else, because it's not even responding to that. Ah, damn, I hate these things. Do you think it had anything to do with the fact that the group he was mentioning were all predominantly Rossmann related? Hey, let us repair. Come on. Okay, at least it gave me that. Maybe it's because you have a verified account, which means I have a dedicated account manager can reach out to them and actually get listened to. Oh, really? Okay. So you've got some mafia clout. Noise. This better not jam up here. If it jams up here on the progress, I'll be really ticked because it's coming off the USB stick. Maybe he felt left out. I do think that could be somebody might have felt like he was left out. Or he might be, say, looking at the amount of attention that Rossmann gave myself and thinking, you wasted all those opportunities. That was a gold mine. Louis Rossmann gave you literal gold in your hands. And what did you do with it? absolutely nothing. Nothing useful at all. You've gone from a miserable 20,000 to 40,000. You're hopeless. I don't know. Alright. Keyboard doesn't work, does it? Does it? Yeah, it does. Okay. Well, Phil, that's it. I didn't think he would have ever been bothered about me at all. I mean, I'm a nobody. Anyway. But it's definitely created a lot of talking points, and I'm fine with that. Oh, trackpad's down. Or is it? No, it's weird. Trackpad's not clicking properly. Oh, jeez. This is why this is why a lot of us generally don't touch the older machines anymore. It's kind of sad saying that a 1706 is old because it's still a good machine. But you start running into all these things like, oh, the trackpad's not working, oh, the keyboard, yeah, it's like, it does work, but it's not giving us tactile. Okay, there's an update locking it. I mean, it's not that there's a problem working on the logic boards. Got all the information, got all the stuff and all that, but it's when it comes to if there's anything else wrong, then you're kind of like, do I have to? You know what? Let's just blitz this whole damn drive. Erase. Hey, Dreams. Hey, Zoni, or is it Zoeni from Europe? Hey, Ryan Labs. Come on. Oh, and we have got a pinstripe developing here too. So what's the point of fixing this? You got a pinstripe on your screen, you got a trackpad not responding properly, you got a see, and then you go, I'd like $329 please for the repair of the logic board, and they're like, but nothing else works properly, and you're like, I repaired your board, and you don't find this stuff out. Yeah, it's definitely a pinstripe in there. It's going all the way down and through, and it's touch sensitive. Fantastic. Hey, creature. Let's try this. Try an Option Command R. Hey, Moreto. Come on, give me the spinning globe, for goodness sake. Yay, we got a spinning globe. Did everyone get that password? Do you want me to do it again so you can see what the password is? Alright, with that running, I'm just going to plug it up on the back here and see how that goes. This better not die. Okay, it's staying alive. Alright, this one machine out of the way. Next thing we'll do is put back together this one that we couldn't bring back to life properly. All we got was a zombie state, which is unfortunate, but you know, I can't go digging in there trying to find a solution without someone coughing up a bunch of money for it. So we'll just stick it all back together, send it back to them, and have them claim their insurance. They'll probably put it on eBay. Yeah, I would be happy to not charge the bench fee if people were happy to offer up these machines, but of course no one's gonna trade a bench fee for one of these chassis when you know you can get $400 or $500 in this state on eBay. So even though this is basically completely destroyed, you will get someone who will pay $400 or $500 for it. Some of them are deluded. Some of them are smarter and realize, it's probably dead beyond measure. I mean, yeah, is it worth more than $50? Absolutely. You know, even 75. I don't know if it's worth the 300-400 that people are willing to pay, but I suppose it's a case of it's worth whatever someone is willing to pay. I guess that's how the market works. But I'm not sure it really is quite that valuable. Yeah, some people you get and they're like, oh well, you know, thanks for trying, and they're like, you know, I'll pay the bench fee, and would you like to keep it? You know, people like that I really love. Obviously when they make that kind of offer, I say no, don't worry about the bench fee, I'm happy to do the exchange. You don't get too many people making nice offers like that, but when they do, it is very nice. And for a lot of people, they're just going to send it to the trash or the recycling right up until the moment they realize that you think it might have value in it. So sometimes it's a game of poker, trying to pretend that you actually are not interested in it. Make it so that they think that you're doing them a favor by taking it off their hands, and yeah, I suppose I could use it for parts, or maybe I can do something with it. Sure. Get too enthusiastic and they're like, I think we'll keep this and we will sell it for $1 million. Like, damn it. Hey, Cypher Labs. So you had a guy the other day, fixed his PS5, gave you a 30 quid tip. Nice. Oh, nice. Oh, wow, yeah, okay. You're doing a pretty good win run there. I mean, look, realistically, I get it. People pay big dollars for these machines. And so if they feel like they're going to get some sort of, you know, some sort of money back, then yeah, I mean, I would be the same probably. However, then it sort of gets out of control and they start anticipating unrealistic, you know, as if they're on some sort of antiques roadshow or something. in there, and I'm like, I see you've got a 2019 16 gigabyte, 2 gig, 2 terabyte RAM MacBook 2485. Now these things were very interesting at the time. They came out with this ingenious new keyboard technique. But overall, I'm afraid to say that it's a piece of shit. And it'll give you $50 for it. Does that sound fair to you? And then they go, my friend said this was worth $2,000. Yep, that's how it usually goes. Hey, Pedro's here. Hey, Paul, how? I think I need to check PayPal. Good timing, Paul. Good timing, right? When I'm in the middle of flipping stuff. Yes, we all have to make money, to be fair. I completely agree. It's, I guess, the case of you try to rein in the disproportionate ones. Mr. Paul Howe, thank you very much, good sir. We have 100 Australian dollars contributed through PayPal, which goes, of course, straight into the whiny beaks of all my darling fur kids, one of which cost me $700 the other day. All because he decided to upset one of the other ones at the wrong time. She was trying to go to the toilet. Got her into a bit of a tizzy. She already had a bit of a cold or flu that she was fighting off, and perfect. If it had been, say, today, on a Monday, it would not have been anywhere near as expensive. But instead, it was on a Sunday. And you call the clinic up, and it's $300 straight up. So it's like, yep, $300 right now, we can talk. Yep. Thank you, Osis. By the way, obviously no one is obligated to pay anything. You can just keep watching. I'm more than happy than that. And I'm, of course, very happy that Paul contributes what he does. Of course, naturally, I have to say that that is clearly not a requirement, but it is certainly very much appreciated. And I'm not obligated to say that. I just say it because it's a very nice thing of Paul to do. But certainly everybody's presence on the channel, chatting in the live channel, just making YouTube aware of the fact that, oh, look, this down and out, low subscriber loser has actually got some attention going on here. A Supercluster Virgo. Got some interesting names showing up here. Need to get a MacBooks to fix on the 18th so I can okay. Which means I need to get my act together and get that software up to spec, because it's I am battling with it at the moment. There are small user interface quirks that I'm trying to solve, but while they may be small, they are actually extraordinarily tricky to try and debug and fix. So it's driving me insane. And they're just really small things. The primary crux of the issue that I'm dealing with is that pin-through parts are treated quite differently to surface mount parts in the board. Because they obviously can exist concurrently on both sides of the board. So anyway, and it's only affecting the mini-map on the screen. So like in the top right-hand corner by default, there's that little mini-map. And when you click on it, and it shows the networks where they go, it gets a bit confused every now and then when you click on a pin-through part on the in the mini-map. The main display is fine. I've got that logic sorted out. But for some reason in the mini-map, it's having a tizzy. And it's driving me mad. I've spent 2 days on it already and making no real progress. Sometimes you get bugs that are like that. They're just like, we're here to make your life hell. Hey QHS, hey City, how's it going there? Got chosen a Twitch homepage on the... Oh, nice, nice. Should some solid name dropping and bling there. You should charge people or offer people name drop spots for $100 or 100 quid a pop. Oh wait, you're probably already doing that, aren't you? Better get the names on the 82. Oh, right. You got the A1989. What are you doing with the names on that? T6. Don't panic, people. We will get to repairing a machine soon. I just like to get these out of the way. You got to be careful that in your job queue you don't get what I call blockers. It's kind of like if you're one of the sort of people that lets dishes build up in your kitchen, and I mean I'm kind of one of those kind of people. I don't mean like 3 weeks worth of dishes, I just mean throughout the course of a day or something like that. If you get a large dish in there in the sink because people don't honour the rule of do not put dishes actually in the wash basin, don't do that. Anyway, if you get a particularly large item in there, it becomes a blocker. I know it sounds obvious, but when you get a blocker in your queue, in what you're trying to do, it just makes you sort of give up and walk away. If you can get rid of that blocker, then you find you're usually more willing to go ahead and do the rest of the work. What you've got to try and not do is shove that blocker out of the way and hope someone else deals with it, or never deal with it. I did? Wait, what? What did I do? Same goes for home improvement. That is true. By the way, sorry, Creature. Yeah, I've been meaning to reply back to your images with your solar. It looks awfully wet and slippery, and by goodness, you have some very steep pitch on your roofs over there, which I suppose is advantageous given your latitude. You need to be able to actually get some angle of attack on the solar rays coming in. Anyway, our roofs are metal, sheet metal. In answer to the question that you posted in the email. There are some people who will have ceramic tiles or something like, but for the most part we all have metal roofs here. Oh, the other pole. Oh, damn it. Ugh. I really do need to consider doing something about the name. PLD is pretty good. I considered revitalizing Jack, but I think Jack doesn't really fit me anymore. So PLD is probably where I should be. And Jack was a very successful name for me back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Oh, that's the other thing, Bill. We don't actually really have living space in the ceiling. Like you go to America and many other places, and you guys, well, in England. And shit me. God damn it. I've got like half the board in. I didn't do that. Oh, that is just a colossal pain in my posterior. I blame you all. Ah, I can't even cheat that one. And what makes this doubly irritating is that this is a no fix. Hey, Mark Anning. Hey, Shane Stuff, Slime. Yeah, this is a no-fix job, so it actually makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. This may be one of the very few times where I decide, no, it's actually fine, because, I mean, we've got a crater here. It's not a working board. This is going to be the one time where I will actually just proceed. feel very dirty about this, but weighing everything up, it would be pointless. But for the record, I feel very dirty about it. Hey Brad, it's good to see you there. How'd all your connectors go the other night? I think, what were you doing? 200 of them or something? Something crazy. Yeah, it's a bin frisbee. Pedro. Oh, we don't even have mounts for up here because we had to take them off in order to be able to carve through that. Yeah. Yep. Okay, that one's mine. Everything else is just... Yep. No. Nope. 6,000 components, boards are done, ready for testing. Wow. Yeah, so that's why I don't do that kind of work. It drives me mad. So I'll give you full credit for persisting with it. I guess you felt like you probably didn't have a choice. Okay, I am going to put that back on. Can't even put the screws back on, there's nothing to screw them onto. Come on, where's that hole? Gotcha. Wrong way, wrong way. Was it 320 octal valve sockets, 320 novel valve sockets? The resistors were... Why were the resistors the worst? What sort of resistors were they? Or were they like not off a board but sort of directly wired onto sockets and things like that, were they? Yeah, my ticket system is custom made. Far too often I'm a invent it here type person. I do look at other solutions for a lot of things, but in the end I tend to find that it is quicker, faster, easier for me to make my own than it is to try and modify someone else's. Because believe me, modifying someone else's, that's, if you can do it, that's great. Saves a lot of time. Okay, let's see how this MacBook's going. Why are you not awake? What? Why are you not waking? Wake up, fishy. Great. Sodding thing must have gone to sleep. Oh wait, no, here we go. It did. Restore from time machine. Reinstall Ventura. I think we'll take Ventura as a belief. Badanki. It's on its way. Continue. Internet connection is... Oh, what do you... Turn Wi-Fi off. No internet connection. What? I don't know why it's forgotten the internet connection. Yeah, seems to be on its way now. I have no idea what that was all about. The stickers come off so easy. That's because they don't generally stay on there for too long. After around about 2 or 3 weeks, they are quite difficult to get off. I have considered with that ticketing system of mine to put the source code out there. The trouble is it's got too many hardwired things. And I've got so many other things I need to get done at the moment that I just can't really afford to invest the time. I have read the agreement, absolutely. I read every single thing that Apple asked me to read there. Okay, 2 hours to go. Alright. Alright, let's have a look at our next task here. Power drawer is sitting between 10 and 25. Didn't we fix this sucker? Swear we fixed this one. Beep. Alright, Kato, you have a good day, eh? Best of luck to you. Do a video on the ticketing system. Alright, so we've got a 850 board, I'm going to guess. No, this is a 1949. Oh, wait. Damn it. I'm having a Gandalf moment. I have no memory of this. I swear I did this. Okay, I'll just look up my job number and see what I've written. Show single job. Thank you. Power between 1 and 20. Okay, I am 99.1% sure I have dealt with this. But now I'm going to have to verify. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah, this looks fixed. I think this was just a bad socket, but the reason why I'm a little bit perplexed is that it's not in there. Yeah, some jobs... The problem is some jobs I get distracted halfway, or something happens and I've got to race out and deal with something. Like I said, the real issue here is why I... Yeah. Crap. Now I'm going to find out what's going on here. Sometimes you drop the ball with the job, punching in the job details, and this is one of them. So fortunately, because I scan this code in, it means if I have scanned that code in, there will now be a video or multiple videos with this code number on it. So I can check it. So even... Yeah, okay, I do. Looks like I handled it ages ago. The 4th. It looks like it was almost so freaking short. I think I think there's... I couldn't find anything wrong with it, so I'm thinking that it was just their system. So... I'm even looking at the job there and I'm like, oh, what's going on with this job? Oh yeah, I mean, on the video, yeah, I'm muted, I know. Okay, and it is stepping up its current. Let's see if it turns on. Come on, Paul. It is charging. Yeah, I've not got an Apple logo then. Okay. Hey Mark, Neo. Alright, so I'm thinking that this actually was fine. Or it was a case of I'll have a look at it again later, because it's kind of weird that they would send me a machine that was working. But I now have had a couple of machines like this where their diagnosis perhaps was a little bit premature. So I'm going to think that maybe they just didn't give it enough time to come back up to life. Yeah, maybe it got to the customer, or rather I should say, the customer has a bad power brick. They plugged it in, nothing came up because the battery was too low. It needed more time to get enough energy to be able to turn on. So that is my theory at this point. Sometimes you've got to work out how these things got to be sent to you in the first place. I know, we still haven't even gotten any repairs. Unfortunately, this is what happens when I go through all the other repairs. And then I think, well, this is a good time now that I've got an audience to do the most boring stuff of the day. So very, very boring. But of course, you do all want your PhDs in snoozing, don't you? And this is the way to do it. It's not all batteries blowing up and flux being burnt. Anyway, we'll get this one assembled, and then we should have a next one, which is going to be, I believe I've got an A1990 that also does a loop, kind of like last night's, and I just realised I've snagged freaking cable snags. Today is not my day for snags. Honestly, it's like I've gone fishing or something. When it comes to fishing, ugh. If you want to find a snag, put me on your fishing party and I'll find that snag. It can be in the middle of the ocean and I'll snag it on the Titanic. Hey, flying cable guy. Coffee would be very nice. Unfortunately, it is a little bit late in the evening for that now. That said, I don't sleep at night anyway. Jeez. I will toss and turn till about just after sunup. And I'll go outside and I'll check on the wildling cats. See that they've all been accounted for, give them a little bit of food, and then I'll come back in, have probably my third or fourth shower, and finally at that point I'll probably be able to crash out for about 4 hours. But for the whole night, it's very rare for me to get any sleep nowadays. I want to. I really do. I really do want to get sleep because it's not pleasant. I'm sure if any of you are insomniacs, you'll understand that. It's not a case of trying to be some sort of rebellious teenager and staying up late. You want to go to bed, you want to fall asleep, you close your eyes and there's probably 5 to 10 minutes where you think it's happening, I'm actually going to go to sleep, and then something just wakes up and you are stuck there for the next 4 to 6 hours, just trapped in some kind of like half dream, half wake state that you can't really escape from. Anyway, there you go. Nice and dramatic for you, hey? THC. We're not going to talk about that, Pedro. We're not going to talk about that. No, fortunately, I'm not limited with how long I sit in the shower. Showers are effective because all the water droplets hitting your skin, it just sort of like overrides all the nerves getting twisted up and that kind of stuff. It just kind of like calms you down. That doesn't work, Brad. That actually has the opposite effect in most cases. I wish it were true. For some it may be, but not here, unfortunately. Brain too big to sleep. Could be. And the thing is, you're not even actually contemplating anything. You're not mulling over things. It's more a case of, for me at least, it's the anxiety of the inactivity. It's the feeling that nothing's getting done right now, so I can't sleep. I need to know that there are things happening, that there's progress occurring somewhere in the world with regards to whatever I'm doing, and then I can sleep. So basically I've got a brain that wants to sleep on the job. But come around about, say, 3, 4 in the afternoon, I can pass out very quickly if I want to. And that's because there's still time in the day to get stuff done. There's things going on. It's a weird one. Use the army technique to sleep. What is that? Shoot yourself. Ever tried clonidine? Clonidine? It's an adrenaline blocker used for blood pressure and sleep. That's interesting. Haven't heard of that one before. Blood pressure is not too bad. I sort of sit at around about 125, 130 for my systolic, and my diastolic's probably the problem, and that is usually 80, 85. Although it's traditionally always been that way. My blood pressure has always been on the upper edges of tolerated limits, as it were. Valerian, didn't find that too effective, but yeah. I think I think when I've got things a little further along around the house and with a few other projects, I suspect then I will be able to actually start going to sleep. Right now, there's just too many things that need to be done, and a lot of them should have been done yesterday, kind of thing. They got that degree of urgency. We've rescaled the dial of urgency from 1 to 10, and we're just going to start at 11 and go up. So yeah, it's a bit like that. Rubber mallet. Percussive induced sleep. Not enough hours, yeah, that does feel, or sort of that, and because of the fact that there's not enough sleep being obtained, there's also not enough energy. So it becomes a bit of a vicious cycle. You don't have the energy to get enough things done in the day so that you feel like you've achieved a full day's worth of work. So you don't sleep as well, so therefore you don't have enough energy to do a full day's work. What's a good course to start to do in electronics? Unfortunately, Shane, stuff, I don't have good answers for that. My introduction to electronics was probably when I was about 7 or 8, and this was a long time ago. It would have been 1980. And it was my uncle, and he bought a radio set, one of the radio kit sets. And it didn't really fire off with me at that point, but it did lay the groundwork. Then by the time I was 10, I ended up with a computer. It was like a $99 Z80, so I think that would have been, that was 83. And then from the computers, because of where that computer came from, which was Richard Smith's Electronics, I can't say the proper name, but Australian people will know who I'm talking about. Anyway, so that was an electronics store, and then I just sort of like spilled into the electronics as well. But definitely computers and programming are my primary thing, although I don't really do IT work anymore. I've done my years of doing IT, crawling through ceilings and pulling wire at sub-zero temperatures. It's just no fun. You do that, and then you become a little bit of a manager, and you do that, and then Y2K comes along, and .com comes along, and you go crazy for a few years, and you burn yourself out completely, because you work from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m, traveling all over the country. And when you finally get over all that, you go, oh, that's it, I'm out of here. I've had enough. You don't do that anymore. It was fun, but definitely very taxing. To be fair, most of my electronics development really came about when I moved to this town and I got into model aircraft more. I mean, I was always into model aircraft, but I got back into it. And then I started, the inventing itch came in, and I started creating electronic devices for model aircraft to try and just make things better for myself. And that's when I'll be doing, design, manufacturing, and then of course with microcontrollers you do the software development. So it was an excellent time. So that would be, what's that, like 20 years now. Art of Electronics, definitely Horowitz Hill. It is an excellent book. I wouldn't call it a beginner's book per se, but I would definitely call it a superb reference. I feel like it's one of those books that kind of, as you read it, it's like you get your experience, your field experience, by reading it. That's probably the best way I can describe that book. It's an excellent book to have. I particularly liked a lot of the noise management and power reduction sections, and also where they'll go through the power protection circuitry and how you go, okay, we start with a crowbar, and then you go, well, but it's got these problems, so you add this to it, but it's got these problems. So they work you through the process that you normally would go through if you're doing that as a job, and some boss comes up and says, listen, we need to protect the input circuitry for our product, and can you design something for us so that when people do something wrong, it doesn't destroy the product. So if you go through that whole book, it is kind of like doing an apprenticeship in a way. But definitely I wouldn't call it a beginner's book. It's a complementary book. But I would certainly say you should have it, definitely. A horrible engineer, but good reverse engineer. That's a very good skill set to have. Okay, this is sitting at 0% charge at the moment, so I'm just going to give it a minute or two and sit here and discuss electronic books. And sometimes you just find a book that resonates with you quite well. Like other people suggest different books that most of the world likes, and you find you just can't really get into it. I was a little bit like that with C programming. Most people will recommend Kernan Ritchie C. It's like the de facto standard, what do they call it? The definitive reference, so to speak, for learning C. And it was pretty good, but I didn't quite feel myself really getting with it. Whereas there was another one by a relatively unknown author called David Spuler called Comprehensive C. And overall, what he wrote wasn't substantially different to what Kernan Ritchie wrote, but just the way it was done, it tied in a lot nicer or a lot easier with me, so I just ate through that book very quickly. C++, on the other hand, I don't think there's a good book on that. But if you can find your fundamentals, learning your fundamentals for electronics somewhere, also get Art of Electronics on top of that. I wonder if I've got it in here. I don't know where I've put my books. I used to have like most people from the 80s and 90s, used to have shelves of books because we didn't have the internet to rely on as our reference. So most of us would have a whole series of O'Reilly books, like the Senmar, Perl, Java, whatever we were involved with, and they would be your definitive references. And then, of course, you'd have your selection of other books you favoured. But now I really am not happy that I've thrown so many of them out, but I do still have a couple that I cherish very strongly. RS Catalogue, that's a big book. Yeah, the books was our internet. I used to have a book that Microsoft themselves published, and it was like the Book of Microsoft Standards or something like that. And it covered everything that you could possibly want. It had the whole DOS interrupt system, and the APIs for working with DOS, like including interrupt 21H, and printer formats, printer port specifications. Had all the specifications for all the ports, and it was back when these companies would give you all that kind of information so that you would choose to use their products. And of course, once Microsoft won that game, those kind of books disappeared. Yeah, the D. Smith books, the Funway series 2, 3, and 4, they were good books. Probably I didn't really learn too much from them in terms of how electronics work, but they were at least a good starting point for learning how to assemble boards, like to do your soldering, how to read resistor codes, all those kind of more physical skill sets that you needed. How to make sure that you looked after your 4000 series CMOS chips and not vaporize them every time you touched them. Yeah, Richard Smith, yeah. I think these days the problem we also have is just the glutton of choice. There's so many different options you can take, it's hard to recommend. Yeah, Brad, that's basically what I agree with you on that. They did write explanations in as to what was happening, but I found they were definitely better for here's a bunch of parts, here's how you can put them together, here's some maybe diagnostic techniques you can use, here's how you use a multimeter. So they definitely went a long way towards creating a foundation in the physical sense for learning electronics. Most of the actual mathematical side of the electronics, schematics and things like that didn't come till much later. Especially things like BJTs, transistors, as opposed to MOSFET transistors. Doing the math for transistors is probably what breaks a lot of people initially. There are some basic rules you can use to work out whether your transistor is going to be on, whether you're going to be saturated, whether you're going to be in whatever state it's going to be in, depending on, and how to build a various types of amplifiers, whether you're going to go the whole hog and be a massive power suck and get a full Class A amp, or whether you're going to have a Class AB, and all that kind of stuff. So it's the information was there, but it was a little hard to digest. With the electronics magazines of the day, like Electronics Australia or ETI, things like that, I loved reading the repair technician stories. They were the thing that I really looked for. Okay, we just had something very interesting happening here, and it may be the fault that actually is being discussed. I saw this battery climb up to about 4%, and it's gone back to 0. Now that is weird. %. Unfortunately, I don't have a password for this machine. Hey, Lawfets, mostly because I'm not really a teacher in that sense. It is a special skill set, and one I feel is a bit underappreciated, of being able to convey what you know to someone else in a way that they can understand or they can build their knowledge with. I mean, I could just blurb out stuff, and the trouble is, most of the time, it's going to be meaningless to most people unless they've already got the foundation or the prerequisites for understanding what I'm saying. And so it becomes useless trying to teach people that way. So I think, yeah, being a teacher is in itself a very important and less common skill set than perhaps what people assume. Yeah, it's solid on 2.2 amps, but I'm just playing around with this here so to try and keep it awake. And when it gets to about, I'm hoping I can get it to 4 or 5%, and then I can pull the cable and see if it stays on. What is that? Paleological or paleological skills? Not so common. Hey, Lutak. Most courses are too expensive and not worth it. I will agree with you there that there are a lot of courses that are very expensive and are just regurgitated crap. I see them advertised endlessly on Facebook, and you see like, come learn the greatest electronics here, blah blah blah, and most of them are just simply cut paste crap, and they like present it as this nice 3D rendered book, and they show nice examples in there. But 99% of the time, it's just simply a aggregate of whatever random crap they found on the internet. One course that I'm really annoyed isn't offered anymore or I wish they did offer such a course, and that would be able to get a certificate for your own internal electrical work here in Australia. You just can't do. You have to become an apprentice of an electrician, as far as I know. Do your 2 to 4 years or whatever. Get your ticket, and then you can work on electrics. You can't do that. You can't just touch electric mains wiring in Australia. You can't do anything with it. You can't replace a faceplate unless it's a clip-off one. Yeah. But I mean, in terms of if you've got a faulty GPO, you can't change that. Even if you have the exact same one and you follow the wiring and all that sort of stuff, you can't touch it. You can't fake passion. No, you definitely can't. Well, some people might be able to. Narcs. But they probably wouldn't want to anyway. Pedagogy, that is really hard to say. Yeah, see, in the US, you guys, yeah. The question is, does that only apply to the 110 volt system? Or are they making exceptions or excluding you from the 240 volt? Like if you have the two-phase into the house. In Queensland, are you technically not allowed to? Really? That bad now? I must have missed that one. $50 volt, yeah, so 48 volt is usually the typical. Okay, we're up to 6%. I'm kind of curious to see whether this dies. It holds steady. Interesting. Alright, 7%. It went up after I... Okay, I'm just going to go put this over here. Oh, how's our... We're almost finished with the internet update one. Good stuff. Alright, now we can actually get on to repair. Everyone's like, about frickin' time. Okay, I've got an A1990 here. And it's doing a loopy job. So I checked this. I'm going to double check it, but as far as I remember, there was no problem with the NAND. Yeah, so 1K on the NAND, 1K there, sort of about 0.9s, 100 ohms on the 0.9. That's fine. We expect that on the 0.9. It is traditionally a lower rail. So there, I thought I'd tackle this one again, given that we had success last night with a similar issue. Okay, Brad. Oh, good 8 hours sleep. Yeah, good on you, mate. Nothing like rubbing it in the face of those poor suffering bastards up here who don't get that. We love you too, Brad. I'll see you on the next one. And yes, Pro, you are quite right. There's no shortage of Sparkies doing stupid stuff. Usually because they're being, under the pump in terms of being rushed by customers. It's kind of like there's not enough Sparkies out there to do the work. Okay, so this is 20 volts. Did we work on this the other night? See, now, to me, I would say 20 volts. Oh, that's right, it does this reset business. I would consider this to be like a DFU state, but as far as I remember, it wasn't DFU. And we didn't really get to the bottom of this. Had a co-worker lose his eyebrows because he wasn't paying attention. That is very easy to do, yeah. 10 p.m. Bing bing. Okay, go to the insulin shop. Draco used to install circuit breakers into live 3-phase 480 volt panels and never been zapped. Just a matter of knowing what not to touch. It's kind of like I know the joke where electrician hands the apprentice 3-wire. He says, hold on to two of those wires. And the apprentice goes, okay, what next? And the electrician goes, no, don't touch the other one. So it's like a bit like that. Oh, I need a torch. And I need a drink. Water. No, Stephen, that one's done and dusted. But this has a similar kind of behavior. I'm not saying this is going to be touch, but it might be 3v8. Oh, hey Mo. Yeah, I know, buddy, but you can't come in. I'm coming out. Gotta go find Micro and give him his injection. Eh? Insulin. Needle. What? Where is he? You're useless. Let's go home. Give you a shot. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Difficult tonight. No. There you go. See? Nice and easy. Wow. Tiger needs. Oh, I'll go check. Oh, good. They're actually all just out there behaving themselves. Simba was in the cat house. Belle's in the chair. So uh, keep working. Just chewing through. Okay.
I'll do Maple's thing in about half an hour.
Okay then. Thanks. Alright, fresh gloves. We're back. Let's see what I missed. Hey, Thomas McWake. Just see you. What are you talking about with the GPU? Cypherlabs, yes, the smell of insulin. Funnily enough, apparently only, or not everybody can smell it. But yeah, it definitely jumps out at me. Okay, so we haven't had a lot of luck with this. Looking at that kind of pattern it has there, a very low current consumption. It's like something's just not coming up. So we got our 20 volts, but in many ways this is quite a bit more frustrating because we've got effectively a steady state going on here. And steady state isn't so bad when you've got a large current flowing. Oh, now I remember now. Yes, that's right. We had the liquid damage here on the touch bar. Yes. And I feel like realistically it's got to be something more to do with around here somewhere, where there's damage. And then we kept getting tricked by those fluorescent, by those fluorescent little pods. I like my water bottle. Leave it alone. It's nameless. It's appropriately sized. I like it. You'll notice I don't really do much in the way of bling or marketing or anything like that. Although my wife did suggest tonight that maybe I should look at some merchandising. I'm not rightly sure even what I would bother to do. I mean, for me, my merchandising was my electronic products. Check C rails and see what I'm missing. Yeah, the question is, I guess I sort of want to have another look visually, see if anything jumps out at me. Given that we did have corrosion, I'd say 98 times out of 100, if you've got a board that has corrosion on it, particularly notable corrosion, then that is most likely going to be your culprit. And I try to stay true to that simply because the fact that it's all too easy to succumb to the urge of start pulling random chips off. When you start doing that, things go backwards very quickly. Polo shirts, yeah, I could consider that. There would be like a small logo on the left-hand chest kind of position. Certainly nothing, nothing not glamorous. That's not the word I'm after. Nothing loud. Just more subdued, kind of like me. People are like, that's so frickin' boring. So, welcome to who I am. I am a boring chap. But I get stuff done. Any damage to the screen connector? Let's have a look. Looks all jolly nice there. No, doesn't seem like anything in that region. Yeah, this one definitely has me stumped. Dead Macbook, are you referring to between the CPU and stuff? Thing is, it's not even posting, so to speak. It's not even getting to the point where it's bringing up the rails like 5 and 3, or actually no, it must. But it doesn't seem to be getting into the higher states. That's what I should actually check to see what state it seems to think it's getting into. Yeah, whether it's S2, S1. And yeah, the only real culprit we've got is this here. I mean, it's possible there's corrosion down in there. I probably should take this connector off. I think there could be some corrosion in there. Hey, Stephen, Skull. So we can lift this off. I think there's corrosion on that second pin from the right. Ah, these are fun. I could put a block on there, but realistically, I'm probably going to... it's just the Thunderbolt chip under there. Pedro, have you got any of Tim's new flux? I bought myself 3 tubes. Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay. It smells a lot nicer than the M-Tech. It's got the consistency of the like preschool or junior school glue that they have, that clear kind of um, yeah, it's not Elmer's white stuff. That actually came off a lot faster than I was expecting. Nothing melted, thankfully. I am somewhat fairly getting used to it. Clag, no, not Clag. Clag was opaque or semi-opaque. No, the stuff, I just remember it being, it was just basically like viscous snot. Clear viscous snot. And it pretty much didn't stick at anything. You used to get it in pens, and there'd be a sponge ball on the end of the like oversized pen. That's what they used to be in. No, Perkins paste definitely not. Perkins was 100% opaque. You people have got dreadful memories. Clearly you've been eating the Perkins paste. Yeah, Clag was in the tub and brush, and Perkins was in the purple tub. Yeah, it tries to wake something there. You get that 100 milliamp. Just put it right here. Oh, yeah, this right here, this little poke. But it's interesting that I suppose the 5 volts 200 milliamp, that's actually quite normal. U-glue? I don't know. I think it might have been U-glue. Doesn't matter. Anyway, all I'm saying is that it's got a similar consistency. Yeah, good old polyvinyl acetate glue. Aqua here. Was it U-glue that was in yellow tube, or was that UU? Like UHU was the one in... Scholastic glue. I think that might be it, Sudi. Let me have a look. Scholastic glue. No, maybe. This kind of stuff. It's just sort of clear. Tarzan's grip in it. That was a little more aggressive. Oh, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so I really don't know what to think about this board. I feel like it's... Yeah. I'll check 3v8. But again, yeah, this... Actually, does this even have 3v8? Don't think it does. Or does it? I forget when the transition to 3v8 occurred. Okay, 1814 board. Yeah, there's no 3v8 on this one. I think 3v8 was more when the Apple M series came out, so this is going to be the Intel one, which puts us more on the traditional. So we have our PP bus, RTC. That's what we need to check. Oh, come on, don't be like that. Substring. .3v3 G3 hot. That's another one. Yeah. Is this one? Yeah, this is what I'm after. This here. Is the sound? Sound should be okay. Okay. Wrong side, Paul. Wrong side. Okay, so this is 3v8 section. Memory tells me there's often a stupid little cap that causes a hell of a lot of grief in this one. Alright, we'll see what voltage we're getting down there. I suppose I better put another connector back on at some point for that poor old board. This is a data recovery job, by the way, which is why, like last night, I'm putting a little bit more time into it. The cap is nowhere near the VREC. Yeah, it's on the other side and it's just nested in the middle of nowhere, and it's not even listed on the schematic near the VREC. Well, we can't really complain about that. 338. So it seems perfectly good. It's not jumping around anywhere. So much for that. I'll check the diode modes on those touch bar connectors though. You know, the one that we removed? It wouldn't hurt to check the diode mode on those pins just to see if something's going on internally. Hello Mike Wolf, welcome. Yeah, so we've got our values here. I'm just going to go along and cross-check them. They don't need to be precise. Honestly, anything within 20% is usually fine. The whole thing where we've got these 3 digits of precision on these pins is ridiculous. Okay, 0.353 rather, that's good. So we got, and then open line. Yep. Or over limit, or whatever you want to call it. That should be ground, which it is. It should be 4.6, it is. This should be, next one should be 4.5. 4.6, that's close enough. Ground, of course. And then 480 and 470, so 47. Slippage. 47, that's fine. And these two should be OL. Yep. Yep. Moving down, we should have another pair of OLs. Yep. Yep. Ground. And then what have we got? 46, 47, 45, that's good enough. 47, good enough. OL, ground rather. 47, 47, 53, Okay, 4.6. Okay, that's about the only. I think 3953. Oh no, 53. Yep, 39. All those values are basically perfect. Lid sensor. Yeah, that's not a dumb suggestion at all, really. That is actually a good idea. Something like that can catch you out. So thank you for reminding me of that. Which, interestingly, is actually where we were. So which pin is that supposed to be? Okay, there's a... Alright, so what we have here... The lid sensor line essentially controls this here. So what have we got? We've got a P-channel MOSFET. You can tell it's a P-channel MOSFET because the arrow points out, so it's P'ing out electrons. It's not technically correct, but anyway, that's the only way. Whereas an N-channel, it goes in to the body. So that's the only way I remember which way is which. Stupid, but that's the thing. You got to find ways to remember these things. Okay, IFD. So 0.7 on that, and it's down on the underside corner. Down the road. Yep. Shush now, Paul. Finding ways to remember things is such a critical skill set to have. $31 in Adelaide. That is actually a little on the hot side, yeah. But then Adelaide is very odd like that. You're so far down south, and yet at the same time, you guys get roasted all the time. And the weather's terrible too. 68. It's expecting 0.7, so that's smack on where it should be. I mean, I was born in Adelaide. I mean, honestly, I'd be very surprised if there was anything wrong with those lid sensors. They haven't even... Yeah, they don't even show any sort of squeezage issues. Diode resistances around the mic. Wait. Oh, look at that. That was a chance. Let me guess, is this the TPS? But that is corrosion. And that has eaten its way into that chip. So is that's the CDS 58910, which is a MOSFET. And that controls power. I mean, look, it's corroded, but I don't know if I can truly blame that. Did the big cap look damaged as well? Maybe. I think that is more just a gloss. It's a color. It's coming from my gloves. The blue tone, it's coming from my gloves. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. The only possibility I can think of is it may be turning on when it shouldn't, which could be causing confusion issues with the rest of the circuit. So I say we replace it anyway and see how we go. I mean, at this point, we don't have a lot else to go on. And we do have the corrosion, you know, it is along the side, so it does fit with my preferred model of repair, which is stick with looking around where the damage is. Now we're going to cause grief to that lid sensor. Now we're going to make it ball out. If we don't pop that first. There comes the balling. And I kind of think I smelt that cap. Well, guess we'll see. That resistor's got a little bit of corrosion on it. But again, I'd be very surprised if you got 20 volts. Like if that had failed, often if anything goes wrong with one of these CD3215 units, it usually takes out the whole damn board and stops you getting 20 volts. Anyway, let's get a replacement. So what was this? This a 1041 or... yeah, doesn't matter. 741. Nope, you don't even have one on you. Oh, marvelous. Oh goody, that MacBook that we were reinstating the operating system on, that has come good. Or at least it's at the point now where it says, alright, tell me what you want to do. What country are you in? Okay, not the same unit, but that's okay. We're not relying on these being matched MOSFETs, and they're just bulk power switches. They're not doing anything soft. They're not doing any subtle work. We're not operating them in their linear regions at all. We're just fully saturating them and make them go as hard as they can. Oh, that cap definitely died. 100% smell that. Now I should probably replace the poor old socket as well. Let's see, any of these any good? That one looks okay. That one looks okay. That's the direct one that we replaced. Alright, for this, I figured while the whole area is getting warmed up, we may as well take advantage of it. Those connectors can seem like they're scary to replace, but they're really not. I'd say most of the time when people stuff them up, it's just simply because they were scared of them. Temp and airflow, what are we at? 60% air, 450 I think. Yeah, 460 and 60. There you go. We haven't finished with that yet, so don't judge me. This is an Atten ST862, and I think I've got the 10mm or 9mm nozzle. A lot of people go. Really, a lot of it comes down to just, yeah, you just got to find the setting that works for you. Funnily enough, for this, putting it back on, I'm going to drop to 450 and 40. Nah, 440 and 40. Because it's leaded that I've put down there now and the board's already somewhat warm, there's no real need for me to go at it at the higher rate. There you go, see, just pops back on, no problem. You just got to go a little bit more so that those inner contacts flow, and you're done. A lot of people are going to build many contact. Yep. Yeah, because, and that's precisely what I mean, which is what Soldering is alluding to, is that it's more about how you use the air and the heat that you pick. Like, I could change this up and down quite a range and I'd still be able to do this. I just prefer that particular setting for myself. It's just a practice thing. You got to work out what you like, where it works for you, how you do it. Shaking a little, yeah, probably, yeah. I'm tired. Because I don't get a lot of sleep, and the last couple of days have been a little bit stressful with Maple and her breathing condition. So, yeah, I'm a little bit tired. I'm going to put it down to that. And yeah, a bit of shaking. Mr. Rossman. Oh, geez. No, don't you start with that mother's womb bollocks. Good to see you, Lewis. I was looking at your goldfish the other day. I gotta say, they're actually really nice looking. Are they actually koi? They kind of look like fat goldfish. I'm going to use the other one. Yeah, see if we get a difference here. I'm sort of like 10% chance I think we'll be different. Doesn't look hopeful. Nah, same bollocks. It's got to be something along that edge. How much does Tim's flux affect the surface tension time to jump for a component? The flux does tend to burn off a little bit sooner. I find compared to the Amtech, the Amtech sticks around a lot longer and it will float your parts quite well, whereas Tim's tends to cleanly smoke off. So I've got to add a little bit more, maybe be a little less aggressive with the air. I mean, I'm certainly not a crazy flux supplier like some people in this channel. So, to be fair, I suspect they probably had shares in the flux industry. Alright, that wasn't that. So what else we got? I'm just going to keep looking at it. There's got to be something along here that's causing the problem. Like, I mean, we look at last night's job, and it was that itty bitty teeny tiny eeny weeny one ball that had partial bit of junk on it. And that was all it took. I mean, it only took the diode mode of 3V8 down from, I think it was 0.17 down to 0.13, and that was all it needed. I do wonder though if that it was actually influencing the signaling, because it was the power button. Okay, we've got some corrosion on that little chip down there too. It's not bad, but there's definitely something there. So in light of any superior theories, we're just going to replace that. Hey Sleepwalker, yeah, doing alright. Okay, let's go. Anyway, Lewis, yeah, I do like your goldfish. What's going on with the camera though? I mean, it's sort of blotching out and doing all crazy stuff. Or is that your internet provider being the pain in the ass? By the way, pin 1's up here, but we could work that out from the schematic anyway. Hey Jason. Had to reset it manually every 8 hours. Why? What is it? Just get choked up? I mean, it looks like when it is working, it's quite clear and well presented. But then it just goes all chunky. Beza, yes, I'm having troubles with OBS, though differently from what other people have had. Mine was I would lose audio. I'm on the very latest version now, I'm on 3102. So, who knows? Hey, welcome back, Phil. Did you get your stuff done? We certainly didn't. actually rather nervous dealing with these little chips sometimes, because if any of you have worked on iPhones, you'll know that, okay, this one's a little bit different because it's not BGA, but you will know that iPhones have the much beloved anti-rollback EEPROM chip in them, and it's just this stupid little 4-pin job like that, although it is BGA. And if you lose that thing, or you damage it, or anything goes wrong with it, it's the end of the customer's data. It's not sitting on there properly in my opinion. I'll just give it another reflow from a different direction. And a bit of a tap. I'll have to do. It will have to do. Now, Pedro, none of that kind of talk. Remember, without Apple, you'd be in a mental asylum, because you'd have nothing good to do with your life. That, or I would be in a mental asylum, because I'd be constantly hearing from you every day. Oh, I got nothing to do, I'm bored, I need to do something. My MacBook repair hobby isn't keeping me occupied anymore. I have to listen to your drivel. Okay, let's try it again. I'd be very surprised if that was it. Very, very surprised. No. Not it. Maybe I should try it with a, in the chassis with a battery again, see what happens. But these should just up and run. And we've still got that 100 milliamp jump. Like I said, if this wasn't a data recovery, I would have just said it's not worth trying to fix any further. You got a cat that goes into its cabinet and goes to sleep. That's funny. I have heard stories of cats doing that. Fortunately, none of ours do. Unfortunately, Neo, thermal cam's not going to give us anything, because last night was already difficult enough with 50 milliwatts of heat. This is even less. At least I think it is, right? Wait. Call it 50 50 times. Oh, actually, no, there might be something on this. Anyway, so we've changed the connector, we've changed the MOSFET on this side. Frickin' annoying, if you ask me. So I don't want to be spending my nights doing this crap. Do you tune into Adam and IT? I do try to, but unfortunately they start fairly late relative to myself, which subsequently means I sort of get the first 10 minutes of chatting to them, and then I sort of have to dip out. Also, because I wear headphones, I don't know why, but for some reason Caradog's audio levels punch through a hell of a lot higher than Graham's, and so I find myself constantly having like volume up, volume down, volume up, volume down. And okay, I mean that cap looks pretty shonky, that ceramic. I don't think it's actually faulty, it's just dodgy looking, but not faulty. The other thing is with the thermal camera, the steady state current, it's probably not actually going to illustrate the fault. I think the fault is whatever drops out with that 100 milliamp startup. Okay, Silvlu, Silview, I always get your name mangled up and I do apologise for that. Scope, yeah. I would be happy to use a scope if I even could come up with a starting point. I mean, I suppose I should now go and check, see what my startup states are, like where I am, whether I'm S1, S2, S3, etc. The other thing we've got here is that these vias have been eaten through, but not in a way that I would consider to be problematic. So like this is an isolated land, so the fact that they're corroded shouldn't be an issue. This has a via failure, but again, I don't think it's going to be an issue. Where are you? I mean, I would, for one, love it if it was just a corroded via. That would be lovely. It would be like taking us back a decade to the time when most of the faults were via related, like corroded vias on 1466s, like this one here, that's just completely vanished. Sylvia, you keep telling me and I keep forgetting, and I feel even worse for that. Thank you, Sylvia. It's like I'm the dumbest student in the class. I've probably forgot my own name several times now. Interestingly, that corroded point is DFR lid. The one that's completely gone. So it's interesting because that means it actually has been sitting there and chewing on it. And maybe it's been chewing on it from 20 volts off the V-bus. Thank you, Sylvia. Yeah, I got to say it a few times so that I get it right. Yeah, so it's that pin there, which is this MOSFET here, which is that T. Was that one that we were looking at way ages ago? Oh, good on you, Zoltan. Nice way to abuse my name. I got to tell you, people talk about subscriber numbers and all that sort of stuff, but honestly, obscurity is my greatest enemy. No one remembers who the hell I am. Or they call me Daniel. My God, that pisses me off something fierce. Hi, Daniel. It's like my name's Paul. My last name is Daniels, so I don't even have any Daniel in there. It's just Daniels or Paul. Or hell, pick the middle name at least, Lawrence. At least that's a bit better. But Daniel, it's like, come on, do better. Let's see, open line on that one there. Okay, open line for that resistor there, and we are indeed open on that. Change the name to Pawpaw. You know they're going to still get that wrong. They're going to call me Pawpaw, like it's a tropical fruit, Pawpaw. Or they're going to be poor Paul, like unrich Paul. It's just people are going to degenerate your name no matter what you do. 5.2, that's smack on correct. It's 0.7 here. It's perfect. 4.32. Pretty much perfect. 5.5. Close enough. It's infuriating when all the diode mode values are where they should be. As long as you're not called PP. Not unless I'm on the bus. So I think PLD is not a bad calling term. So I could live with PLD. Man, I'm struggling with trying to... I like the idea that it's got something to do with the lid sensor. I really do. I really want it to be something to do with that lid sensor. Teresa, why did you have to bring up that? Oh, no. Teresa's definitely in the bad books now. This has gone to hell. This has gone to hell. Can I kindly say that I hate you all? But tweezers are Ineasies, I think. Oh, look, some Chinese that I... Boo. And... I don't recognize any of the other characters. I just remember that one as Boo. Anyway, yeah, Ineasies. And I've just sort of filed the tips down pretty aggressively on this one. I've got a box of them, so I'm very happy. I'm happy with them, so I've got a box of them, so that I don't run out anytime soon. Okay, we're going to voltage mode. We're going to run this thing, and I'm going to see what that lid sensor is doing. Well, I don't know about them being overpriced. They didn't cost me that much when I got them. We're talking like 5 years ago, so I got those. And I said, got them cheap. Got a lot of them. Okay, so we got 0 on that. That's interesting. That there is open L. Okay, so that makes sense. No. Yes. Yeah, it should be low because there's no lid. Yep, that makes sense. Just check to see if we've got a voltage on, see, pin 1 here. Okay. But nothing there either. That is actually more interesting. That's 1v8 sleep S2 state. Do we even get that at all? Does it like ever make a brief appearance? Okay, nothing. $11 I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Another dead, useless night. Hey, B-Blood. Yeah, I'm not having the best of time though. Let's try that bottom pin. Should have 5 volts on. Oh. Oh, you are all over the place. Okay, you got to be sagging. Back to 5, and then you drop and sag. $5138 is smidge high. I mean, it's not terrible, but that's more like 2% variance rather than 1% variance. Yeah, the connector is touch bar, but it carries the lid sensor information with it too. Okay, I'm going to try pin 20, which is the one that was next to it. That should be our 1VA. Be interesting to see whether it shows up on that pin. And if it does, then it means we've got a break. Ja, man. Yeah, we're definitely not getting 1V8 S2. We've got that 100 milliamp spike though. This is touch reset low. So that's staying in reset. Quite frankly though, at this point I'm assuming it's nothing in this section is getting power. I don't think, yeah, what have we got there? That's 3v3. 3v3 is running a little high. It's not bad, but it's still running a little high. Draco, she's doing well tonight. Obviously we're just keeping a very close eye on her. You know, we don't want anything to degenerate rapidly, which, you know, these things can if you're not careful. Okay, just disconnect that. Ah, damn it. I thought there was a bit of corrosion down there under the Thunderbolt chip, but it's another one of those cocoons. Yeah, this one's definitely making me hate life. I wonder what that is there. I mean, that it looks nasty, but it really isn't anything in particular. So was that third one down? That is 3v3 UPC. So again, if that wasn't present, we would not be getting 20 volts. Do they have Papadori in Afrikaans? I don't know what that is. I know what a poiki is. I don't know what a Papadori is. Is that pronounced a V as in victory or V as in fun? So now where I'm starting to get dangerous here is I'm thinking, okay, we've got a Pi 32 chip here and that can sometimes cause these issues. But the thing is, I've got to, you need to sort of come up with a reason of like, okay, why would that be to blame? Why would we blame the Pi 32 chip? How was it destroyed? If it was. V for victory. Oh, okay. Alright then. Oh, the I don't care vibe, yeah. Yeah. I've seen a lot of his fans sort of being a bit upset about, you know, it's like, oh, don't be so upset. Stop, you know, why don't you take good advice and stuff like that, you know. Don't be a difficult person and refuse to take good advice. Like, it's not good advice. I said it's advice appropriate perhaps if you are trying to be just like him. But the rest of us, a lot of us, we're just doing a different kind of business, okay? So, yeah, get out of here with that advice. It's not advice, it's not help. It's misrepresentation of what we do. So it's just fun when they're like, stop crying. It's like, but no one's crying here. We're just telling your guy off because he's trying to typecast us as all his kind of thing. And it's like, we're nothing like that. Well, I'm not. I don't know, Phil. You could be a little bit close. Yeah, Phil, well, you know me. I like to be a little bit more diplomatic. Slightly diplomatic. That always reminds me of what was that movie? Lethal Weapon 2, I think it was, and it had the South Africans in it. And the dude's like, diplomatic immunity. Oh, I think it was the first one. And of course, that actually confused the hell out of me because I was like, what the hell? You got white South Africans? Yeah, I'm a young kid at that point. I didn't know anything about the international situation. So it was doubly hilarious for me to actually end up spending quite a decent portion of my life over there in the end. And I was like, gee whiz, I was an idiot as a kid. Kruger around, And like when the Australian cricket team was ostracised because they went off to play with the South Africans, and I was like, what the hell's wrong with this country? Why the hell won't we let our players go and play with the Africans? It's like, are we frickin' racist? And, oh, jeez. Yeah. The things you say when you actually don't understand the full context of things. Yeah. So I was defending the rights, but I didn't realise that I was defending the wrong group, so to speak. It's not the same as when you were here. No, look, I agree. Yeah. It's very different. I got there basically when, at that point, the worst was over, and at that point, hope was rekindled in the country, and there was a lot of rejoicing and looking forward to the future and all that sort of stuff. It was a happy time. And then by the time I left, it looked like it was sadly heading back to the dark times. Certainly it did with Zimbabwe, with Mugabe doing the basically kicking all the farmers out. That was a really smart move. I think that is the hard thing though. Like, if you have lived in South Africa and you have experienced what it is like the good side of the country, then it is extremely hard to leave, because it is a fantastic place. I don't know what it is about it, but you live there for a few years and it is extremely hard to want to leave, in spite of everything. You just it gets a hold of you. Something gets into your blood and you don't want to leave the place. And I only left because they came and picked me up and said, you need to leave. You don't have a visa anymore. It's expired. And I'm like, what? I said I was waiting for it to be granted or denied, and then I would make a choice. I didn't expect you guys to come around here and pick me up. Anyway, fortunately, they were very nice. They said, look, just jump out of the country for a day, come back in on a tourist visa, holiday visa, clean up your affairs, and then leave. I was like, all right, fine. Fortunately, it didn't take me to the airport, though. That actually probably would have been the safer option. No, they took me to Home Affairs. And I must have ticked off a bunch of people there because, I went straight past the long line. Like, if anyone's been to South African Home Affairs, you know that basically you got to get there at, in a parallel universe, 4 o'clock in the morning to get a chance to get your whatever you got to do done for the day. But instead, they just took me in, sat me down, and told me my situation, and then let me go. I don't even know how the hell I got home, actually. Things that you forget. Here we go. This is way... That's right. This is... Yeah. Oh, that's what I was wondering. Whether... Yes, now I remember this. But there's a stalk there. 2 stalks. And I was kind of wondering if they were actually required or not. Yeah, so this is from the previous repairer. And so what I'm trying to ascertain is whether I needed those or not. Okay. Alright, so it doesn't matter in this particular case because this is the same line. This is 2v5, and we touch the veer and it beeps, and we touch the pad and it beeps. So we're okay. Even though that's broken, it hasn't broken the circuit as such. There's obviously multiple paths keeping everything intact. Yeah, I'm going to have to walk away from this one again. Like I said, I'm only persisting with it because it's a data recovery job. And I feel like I was sort of reignited, so to speak, after last night when we had that success. But this one is kind of like I've leveled up and it's like, right, now you're ready to actually have a hard job here. It could be just another stalk on the other side, but it comes through, like this is the same rail here, and so all this area, it is absolutely chock full of stalks. A few ibises as well. So it's getting late, and I think I've wasted everybody's time tonight. This is a dud stream, I'm sorry. C'est la vie. And I will maybe look at it again tomorrow. And the real problem is that, at least last night we had a transient that lasted a reasonable amount of time. This 100 milliamp transient is so quick that it barely registers on the meter. So catching it thermally, I think, would be an absolute freaking miracle. Oh, good to hear you can feed back to the grid creature. Although hopefully, though, you've got a system that keeps most of your power that you generate, so you don't have to buy power from the grid. Anyway. Alright then, everybody. I'm going to go and lament about my lack of success tonight on Discord, while I then try and solve the minimap problem that I've got with my software, which is going to require me to just do the logic longhand. That is, normally you try to write the states in such a way that it's algorithmically terse, but sometimes if you just can't work out the algorithm involved in like how to change the values, you end up just simply individually handling each state as a separate bit of code. It feels bad because it feels like you're not using your brain, On the upside, it makes it a lot easier to maintain in some ways, makes it worse in other ways, but yeah, sometimes you just got to do it the longhand way, and often when you do it the longhand way, you get hit with an epiphany, and you realise then how you can compact it. So, DJ Russi, thank you very much for the $9.99. That's $9.99 US too, so that's about 15 Australian bucks. It's pretty good going. Thank you very much for that, DJ Russi. And thank you, Paul Howell, by the way, for the $100 earlier tonight. So we can't forget that. Thank you, Paul. And thank you for sticking around for this long, listening to me jibber jabber. Alright, it's the way it goes sometimes. At least because I've got all my other projects done in terms of board repairs, I was able to spend some time on this. Under a normal situation, if I have other jobs that are ready to go, ready to be done, then I'll be doing those. I would not be investing 3 hours into this one. So you gotta weigh up how you're gonna make your money for tonight. And I guess I thought I would try this one, but it looks like once again it has defeated me. But I'll try again later. So thank you all again. I'll see you on the next one. You all take care in the meantime, and I'll catch you later.